Sydney, May 22nd. A quiet street, a silent car, and inside, 2-year-old Carlos. Left alone for just minutes. When his mother's boyfriend returned, Carlos was gone. No sounds, no witnesses, no trace, just an empty seat. And that's where the nightmare began. Behind this innocent disappearance was a man the streets feared. A man they called the magician. But this magician didn't perform tricks. He erased lives. John Regan was just 14 when he began attacking strangers. Locked inside the brutal Gosford boys' home, the place didn't rehabilitate him, it made him worse. Twisted by trauma, he grew into a monster. As a young adult, he became a pimp, preying on vulnerable women. Those who disobeyed didn't survive. He didn't just control them, he owned them. In 1967, Regan committed his first known murder. Barry Flock, a fellow pimp and the only one who dared question Regan. John bailed him out of jail, only to make him disappear forever. There was no body, no arrest, just another ghost story whispered across the city. If you knew your friend was a killer, would you turn them in? Or would you stay silent knowing you might be next? One by one, they vanished. Ross Christie, Eric Williams, and more. Each death silenced someone who stood in Regan's way. There were no screams, just silence. And each time the police got close, Regan slipped through, like smoke through their fingers. Carlos wasn't his first victim, but he was the one who crossed the line. Regan claimed the child vanished while he went to buy a newspaper, but witnesses say Carlos was crying, and Regan snapped. What he did next remains a mystery, because that baby's body was never found. What followed was even sicker. Regan taunted Carlos's mother and the police. He led them on wild goose chases, laughed in their faces, and even presented animal bones pretending they were Carlos's. It wasn't just murder. It was torture. And he enjoyed it. But Regan finally made a fatal mistake. He murdered Ratty Jack Clark, a man tied to Sydney's criminal elite. Why? Because Clark told people Regan had killed Carlos, and that loose talk sealed his fate. Because Clark was friends with someone you don't cross. Lenny McPherson was one of Sydney's most feared crime bosses, and when he heard about Regan, he ordered a hit. The man hired? Paddles Anderson, a quiet, aging hitman who Regan trusted. That trust would be the last mistake of his life. If the system fails to stop a killer, is street justice ever justified? Or is it just more blood on our hands? One rainy day, Regan was lured to a quiet street. No bodyguards, no backup. Suddenly, 3 men stepped from the shadows. 8 bullets tore through his body. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. Sydney streets had claimed one of their darkest souls. At just 29, John Regan had murdered, manipulated, and mutilated his way through life. His death was as violent as his crimes. But something still lingers. The fear, the silence, the feeling that monsters like him never really die. They just change faces. Do you think justice was truly served, or did Regan escape the punishment he deserved?